Hi, Holly. How are you? How are you, everyone? Those of you tuning in on the replay, hello. I'm going to share this real quick. There we go. Actually, that's not going to show me. Hey, Ben. How are you, love? Get everyone tagged. And share to the group. There we go. All right. Much more efficient with the new computer. I am so grateful. It was about time. The other one was a dinosaur, apparently. It was like 5 years old, so apparently that's how it goes with technology. What are you doing, computer? All right, it's frozen. Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing good. Hi, Susan. There we go. Okay, now it's going to show me the comments, maybe. Hi, Suzanne. Hello, everyone. Yeah. I can't wait until post shadow's over. All right, there we go. Cool. Hey, Matt. So I went to pick the boys up from school, and my friend Amanda, Jay's daughter, you guys know, her husband is the one that's fixing my car right now. So it's not been an issue. He's got all the entire engine pulled out now. Hey, Kara. Oh, hey, Charles, how are you? Hey, Catherine. So anyway, it wasn't difficult apparently for him to get the engine out, but he told Amanda to tell me that I don't lie when I say my car is held together by pure magic because the timing chain behind the engine I was telling you guys about, which is the reason like he had to pull off the whole thing because they couldn't get to the gasket that was cracked. So anyway, that has been rubbing metal on metal, like on whatever is next to it, a bolt or something. And he's like, if that would have gone, like if that would have broken before he ripped into it, I could have, thank you, Suzanne, I could have definitely had to replace the entire engine. And that didn't happen because this phantom reason why it blew a head gasket and just had to be in the back so far that he could only get to it by taking the bolt off to, yeah. Anywho, it's all divine protection is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Divine protection. Yeah, it might be an inconvenience and a lot of money, but divine protection because it could have been a lot worse. A lot worse. Okay, who can comment on my post? Not the beloveds. Thank you, Suzanne, for reminding me because I did forget. My computer was frozen on this video just now, and it had the background image of the water goddess superimposed over my face in like with this background and everything. It was weird. Too bad I didn't do a screenshot of it. But yeah, that's my miracle for today and for the past few weeks. So, and what else was I going to tell you guys about? I forgot. I was going to tell you guys something else, but I forgot. Mm-hmm. My truck runs on pure magic, and no one can ever contest that. Mikey has confirmed it, and now Andy's confirming it. Hey, Christy. How are you, gorgeous? So yeah, I was thrilled whenever she told me that. I giggled and I was like, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's gonna be a little more expensive for parts, but Oh, the wiener plant. You're gonna have to post that in the group so they know what we're talking about, Kara. Kara sends me this picture of this plant, and it's a real plant. I think it's did you Cambodia? I wanted to say Colombia. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's Cambodia. Hey, Jeffrey. So it's a plant, and it looks like a phallus, a masculine phallus. I don't want to get my video like, you know, algorithm kinks or something. But speaking of kinks, post that in the group. Because I saw it forever ago, like years and years ago, and she sends it to me today. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, and I just laughed so hard. It's the funniest thing ever. Kind of like a picture plant. Oh. Yes, I can keep my truck around for a lot longer. It's definitely gonna let Andy said basically it's all rebuilt at this point. So once he's finished with it, because he's making sure as he goes that there's nothing else that's gonna need you know, some kind of repair. So pillar and stones. There you go. Your bait and tackle. Your atlas arrived, but your book did not. And then UPS pulled up with your book. Nice. Look what you manifested. What else was I going to tell you guys about? I don't remember now. I don't know. But maybe it'll come to me later. Hi, Sonia. Hey, Princess. How are you? Lovely to see your face again. All right, we'll get started. I'm wondering what kind of story is going to unfold here. It was getting my attention while I was pulling cards, and I'm like, So, it's going to be a good one. And the pay attention card came out too, so I really did pay attention. Hi, Joanne. Hey, Shauna. How are you? All right. Well, let me do this or else I'll be sniffing the whole time. Okay. Okay. This relationship was a lesson showing up on the bottom of the deck, and I'm using the Game of Life deck by Flavored Vivid, flavoredvivid.com if you guys want to get your own. I think they're like 50 or 60 bucks. Hey, Wendy. This relationship was a lesson, okay? And it's part of intergalactic mastery showing up on the bottom of the deck as confirmation. Part of your purpose is learning lessons through relationships, okay? And you teach others lessons through the relationships as well. But each lesson that we learn is like a new tool that we add to our tool belt, right? To get us through building this new earth paradigm. Sniffling all day. Dang. Hey, Joanne. It was kind of windy here today, and it's dry now because all of the snow and everything has melted away and dried up in town anyway, not on the peaks, but here it's been sunny. It's been warm for the past few days. So the street sweepers came through and they were going up and down the road like 6 or 7 times, cleaning the shoulder of the road off because of the snow plows and everything. So it was kicking up so much dust, and then it was windy, so it was carrying it all over the place. So I think we're all a little extra sniffly today. Eamon was jumping on the trampoline earlier, and he came in needing to use his inhaler because he has reactive airways. He doesn't have asthma, but it was bothering him. So it's I feel that one. I know you're not in the same part of the world, but I feel it. So we learn through relationships, we gain tools, we gain experience, we gain perspective through encounters with other individuals. And this folds right into today's topic. So I'm loving this. But this intergalactic mastery, this confirmation card, this, you could be someone, okay, you could be a soul who hasn't really incarnated here before. Okay, I feel you on that one too. um, you haven't really, it's not like a habitual incarnation place for you, perhaps. Okay, take it if it resonates. It's not going to resonate for everyone. But you've had other experiences, maybe not super similar to the kinds of experiences that humans have with one another in different kinds of relationships. So a lot of us have to learn through trial and error, especially if we, you know, we were just landed here with inept parents, perhaps, or just parents that didn't know how to parent in the way that we needed, whatever it was. We didn't learn how to use our discernment in relationships, or even how relationships work. It's really difficult for a lot of us to get that down, you know, and sometimes it takes many, many, many years, decades, okay, in order to even get the hang of it, not let alone master it. But this is talking about mastery, and I'm seeing it across, like, you've had multiple experiences, multiple different kinds of relationships, except for the human ones have been difficult. The human ones are the ones that have been the most complex to understand, how they work and how to operate within them, how the other person or persons should also operate in a healthy way, right? We go through so many toxic relationships of different kinds. So this is like whatever's happening with you recently regarding relationships, close personal relationships, or even business ones, because that is showing up here. We have a little bit of talking about work, and with quit your job, it's not good for you. But we have had lately coming up about coworkers, or a coworker specifically, that could be targeting you, stealing your ideas, stealing the glory for your work, whatever it is. But you're learning through these relationships, and you are, this is confirmation. It literally says confirmation. It's a confirmation card of intergalactic mastery, of mastering these different kinds of relationships. And now in this humanness, you're mastering these. So whatever decision you made, whether you cut them out or you set boundaries, whatever you did, this is confirmation that you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. Hey, Cassandra. You're learning, okay, and you realize that, you recognize that, and you know that relationships are a lesson. I'm currently reading a book in agreement the fifth agreement, which is discernment. That's funny, because I was talking to Holly earlier, and we just mentioned, just in conversation, mentioned discernment, with relationships, with people, with choosing people in your life too. So yeah, it's all coming together, guys. It's all threaded, like I tell you all the time. You're conjuring your legacy, okay? You are at a level of mastery, and if you haven't yet mastered it, and you're still kind of battling that last big scary guy before you go to the next level in the video game, right? This is part of the lesson. This is part of your purpose, your path, your legacy, what you're leaving behind here, because your energy ripples out. You inspire others, okay, because you operate from the heart. And sometimes, like Holly and I were talking about, sometimes that can get you into tricky predicaments, right? If you're just so full of love, and you just, you know, we all want the world to be all light and lovey-dovey and butterfly farts and all of it, but that's not the way it is. We live in a dualistic universe. So a lot of us, especially those who aren't used to human connections and things like that, from being in other places mostly, it's difficult to understand the complexities, right? But we can set ourselves up kind of for failure by not understanding how to discern people's true agendas, motives, behaviors, thought patterns. You know, they're mental and emotional health. Okay. We tend to attract those that need healing because we want to heal, we want to help, we want to love, we want to, we want to do all these things. But if they don't want to do it themselves, then we're just basically throwing our energy in the trash. Um, okay. I was going through it in my mind. I was going to say it, not saying that they're trash. And then it came through. Um, it is what it is. I was like, okay, then. So they could have trash ass vibes, or they could just be trash to you because they're no longer healthy for you. They're no longer meant to stick around. So you need to discard them from your life. It doesn't mean that they're complete trash, but I mean, it is what it is if they are. So that's not for me to judge, not for me to discern. And they put me in quite the little predicament there. Anyway, start your own business. Holly, your name is showing up, and that's the only thing that's showing up on the screen right now because the format somehow changed. So I'm not even seeing one comment on my phone, just the name. So your name is right there as I start reading that card. And Holly is getting her business out there. She's already got one, but she's getting it out there and it's going to be taking off like wildfire. So I'm excited for you, Holly. But start your own business. Focus your intentions. Focus on yourself. Stop focusing on those outside of you, on trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. I know it sucks. Okay. People make shitty decisions and you see that they could do better, that you can see all the potential, you can see them at the soul level, but they can't see themselves there. Okay. So stop wasting your time because they're never going to hear you. You can plant the seeds, but they might not take root for another 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Maybe it could take root tomorrow. You never know. But stop throwing your energy in the trash. Okay. If they want to live in the trash, let them be Oscar the Grouch. Okay. Leave them over there. Let them do that for a while until they get sick and tired. And then they start taking initiative of their own life. Okay. We're going to come over here. Oh yeah. I didn't even know this was on the bottom of the deck. Honor your energy. That's why they brought me over here. Honor your energy. Okay. Stop throwing your energy away. Stop, Captain Sabo. Yes, Holly is doing the thing. Go, Holly. It's your birthday. Honoring your energy. Stop throwing that shit down the garbage, okay? Stop it. Start using it for yourself. Start focusing your intentions on starting your own shit. Even if it's not starting your own business, it could be starting a new hobby. It could be starting a new spiritual practice, like, oh, I'm going to meditate every day or twice a day, or I'm going to go connect in nature now that it's spring in the northern hemisphere. I'm going to get out there and get some sun codes every day. Whatever it is for you. Honor your energy, recharge yourself. That's what the sun codes were coming through for. And focus your intentions on yourself. Fill up your own cup. Creativity right behind that is why I said that. So honor your energy and use it not to throw away for other people, but reinvest it in yourself. You are expensive, okay? You are an investment. People got to take out a loan to buy your energy. All right. So honor that. Invest your own energy back into yourself. I like that. Reinvestment. Oh my gosh. I didn't even see it. Self-love right behind those two. Oh my gosh. Look at these stripping illusions. Man. I love when this happens, and it happens all the time, but oh my gosh. Discernment right behind that. Can you believe it? Discernment. Okay. So the illusions are falling away. We've had eclipse season. We've had, retrograde season. Eclipse season ain't over until the end of this month anyway, right? Yeah. So we're still in it. We still have facades melting. We still have illusion being stripped away. You are being told to use your discernment though, because things can be cloudy, especially with the post retrograde energy. And all of the, all of the sun activity, yeah, all of it, the planetary energies, the sun, everything. So if you're feeling exhausted right now, it's because you're giving too much to others. You need to reinvest. Okay. You need to focus your energy here. Meditate. Cha-ching. Yes, for Holly. Cha-ching. Oh, dang, Matt. I love that. So yeah, step into your creativity, they said. I'm like, is that really what you want me to say? Yeah, step into your creativity. You might have stepped out for a minute, took a little smoke break, some kind of little break in between. It could, like Holly, another example, using you as another example, Holly, with the drawing that you just went back to, and then you do what you feel guided to do, and then you step back and you go and you leave it for a while, and then you just go back to it and add to it whenever you get that intuitive nudge. So coming back to something after some kind of ending, we have death, and then right behind that, past, present, and future. I'm still reading bottom of the deck energies, y'all. So something's ending, something that is very much entwined in your past, present, and future. We've had that card a couple of times. I've used that deck a couple times in the last week or so, and every time that card has come out, you're an ongoing example. I love it, Holly. You're a beautiful, shining example, and I love you. Luminous loom, find hope and inspiration guided by the light in challenging times. So, whatever this ending is, or there could be multiple endings, okay, chain reactions, past, present, and future. It's all aligning though. You're healing the past and the present to save your future, okay, to create your future. To save your future, if you feel that way, then it's you who saved yourself. It's like bringing yourself up out of some kind of like darkness, like there could be addictions, codependencies, self-sabotaging behaviors, serious clinical depression. But you found the light. It wasn't for nothing. You had to go that deep. You had to go that dark. Hey, Dale. How are you, love? You had to go that deep and that dark to find how big your light was, because you are so expansive. Think of yourself as the universe. Okay, all of the stars and all of the planets and all of the everything out there in the cosmos. Okay, you have all of this inside you. Imagine how vast it must be, and how far reaching that is, and how far you need to go to get to that complete darkness without the light pollution, even of other stars and planets and suns and all of the things. But you have to get far away from those lights in order to see your own sometimes. Okay? It's not for nothing. Ooh, serene sanctuary. Find inner peace and a serene sanctuary amidst life's challenges in your journey. Be your own peace. Be your own heaven. That's what you're here to do. Find peace, find balance within yourself. That's right, Shauna. Congratulations. I forgot momentarily. I saw your post about sobriety, that beautiful poem that you wrote. I loved that. Congratulations. So through the darkness, you find your inner peace, your inner calm. You have to limit the stimuli, the external stimuli. If you feel like going to a float deprivation tank, do it. I still haven't tried it. I've got the offer from a client. She's like, you can, she owns the shop. That's hers. She's like, you can do it for free. And I still haven't reached out to her to book an appointment. Awesome, Dale. Awesome. You're welcome, Shauna. So if you're contemplating that, here's your confirmation. Enlightened embroidery. Seek knowledge and understanding on the path to enlightenment. So it might, this isn't going to be for everyone. I'm not saying everyone go do that, but it could be some kind of source of enlightenment. It could help you really tune out all of that external stimuli and just be at peace and calm with yourself in the darkness, and in a meditative state, in that theta state, receiving healing, downloads, information, light codes, all of it. So if you're feeling drawn to go do something like that, then do that. Otherwise, you can find the same thing just meditating. You don't need a deprivation chamber, but you can create your own. Go in your bathtub, turn all the lights off in complete darkness. Put a bunch of salt in the water. I have bath salts if you want some on my website. But you put in some earbuds and play some, high vibe tones or music or anything like that. Tangled threads, untangle complexities with patience, discovering clarity in transitions. So whatever knot you're currently untangling, keep at it. Dedication. They're saying, we've been talking about discipline. So dedicate yourself, discipline yourself to untangling whatever situations have been coming up, or whatever emotions, thoughts, anything that's, it's like a blockage, anything that's causing blockages, which could be your own thoughts. It could be people, situations outside of yourself. If you are just really kind of juggling a lot of things right now, and it's like you're just tangled up in a knot because you've got all of these threads everywhere else, you need to prioritize. You need to untangle that shit. You need to let things fall to the wayside for now and just focus on what you need to deal with, and focus on yourself. Teaching again, and we had that this relationship was a lesson card. So teaching, you are the tree. This is a tree of knowledge, they said, and you're deeply rooted. Okay, look at all those roots too. Look at all of them. Deeply connected and intertwined with others in a network. They're talking about ancient, deeply rooted through what humans couldn't even understand. You can't comprehend. It's like trillions and trillions of years old tree. Okay, if we're talking about a tree, it's like trillions of years old, and no trees here are that old. But this is you, and you're deeply rooted in that, even though you might have temporarily forgotten, even though sometimes you might feel like you're faltering. You're just one branch out of this grander tree, right? This you right here is just one of the many branches. So connect to the whole. Come back into union with your highest self. Meditate, connect. You're the receiver, okay? Because you're this little branch way out over here, but there's tons of branches everywhere, and each one of those is another branch of you. It's a receiver of you somewhere else, receiving this information by experience, by incarnating in these different places, in these different bodies, and some without. You don't always take physical form, but they're talking about connecting to the whole, because your higher self, the majority of yourself, has all of this information, has everything that you need. They're talking about needing to draw on these past memories. So needing to connect with the higher self. We've got so many volunteers that have come online, have been online. There's others that are just now coming online. It's been in waves. There's so many of us now. So connecting with one another in that way is going to be helpful, going to be beneficial. But in order to fully connect to this greater grid, to anchor in all of this energy, we must all individually be aligned with our higher selves. We must all be bringing this energy through, anchoring it to this plane. And once we start to do that in a meaningful way, in a big way, because there's, you guys know, there's so many in the spiritual community. But if you are a part of any of these groups, you know, there's like people that are trolling and shit talking and getting like really offended at seemingly nothing or at big things. You know, it's the same. The collective is just trickled down, and then they put a little badge of spirituality over it, you know. So imagine, if you will, okay, not asking you to judge or not saying this is fully accurate, but just imagine, because I'm not going to give you any information on this. Imagine, out of all of that collective, just within the spiritual communities that we know of, how many of those, from seeing what they talk about, seeing what they post about, seeing what they argue about, how many do you think of those are fully embodying their higher self in that moment? So imagine if every single one of them was, or a majority of them, maybe even a third of them, say, even a third of them. Imagine if one third of those were fully embodied with the higher self. Those posts wouldn't exist. Those arguments wouldn't happen. So yeah, you can wear the badge of spirituality and say, oh, I'm a Reiki master, or I'm a whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of people, you know, they think they're really in the spiritual community if they get a Reiki certification and then they just like post spiritual memes. Okay. um, Not judging, not shit talking, just being honest. So meditate, do the work, focus on embodying your higher self in every moment that you can. Yeah, you have to be a brighter lighthouse. 20 million-year-old petrified trees in Lesbos. Yeah, not trillions, but that's a lot. That is a lot. So retreat. Yeah, go within. Okay. Because the only way that you're going to come into full alignment and fully embody your higher self, or as much as you can, is by going within, by retreating within yourself. And that's card number 40, which breaks down to number 4, which is solid foundations. All right. We have blooming pathways showing up. Embrace new opportunities and nurture growth like a blossoming garden. You are growing. And like I tell my kids, growing hurts. You get the growing pains. Your muscles ache, your bones ache, your tissues and your tendons, all of it. 33 minutes in. Thank you, Anna. So embrace the process, even when it's messy, even when it's scary, even when it's a nuisance. Like my car being broke down for like 2 or 3 weeks now. But hey, it could have been a lot worse. It could have cost me a whole engine, right? So I am choosing to look on the bright side. I am so ecstatic that something bigger didn't happen and really leave us stranded somewhere without my friends willing to just jump in and happen to be on their day off. So, you know, these things happen these ways for a reason. You can choose to look at it as, oh my gosh, the universe hates me, I'm being psychically attacked, someone's hexing me. Or you can be like, oh my gosh, this is such a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise, because that could have been a lot worse, you know. So start to embrace the entire journey. You might not always understand why things are happening the way they are in the moment, but you know, hindsight is 2020. So after you move through this, you're going to be able to look back and see why everything had to happen the way that it did. If you are mindful enough, you can see, like, I understand why things happen in my life the way that they're happening. For the most part, most things, you know, some things I'm too close to, and then it takes me a while, but I eventually get there. But being mindful and understanding everything happens for a reason, everything happens in divine timing, and your ships are coming in. That's been said several times over the past week for sure. Get some of Holly's ointment for those growing pains. Yes, she's got some in the mail. That's why she messaged me today to let me know that she dropped it in the mail. So I was like, yay. So I'm definitely going to use some of that on him because the twins have been experiencing growing pains for like off and on for like the last month. So divine timing, okay? Everything's coming together. Even when you can't see it, even when you don't understand how, the pieces are still being put into place, okay? The cogs are still in motion, everything's starting to settle, and it's going to be solid. We've got home showing up, card number 44. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 is infinity. 8 is abundance. Grounded strength, build strong foundations and lay the groundwork for future growth and success. So we had that card number 40 with retreat that broke down to 4 for solid foundations. And then we have home, card number 44. Okay. Foundations, foundations. That's double confirmation of foundations, of everything coming together. And then you have this grounded strength card talking about strong foundations. You are laying those strong foundations. You're laying the groundwork for your future success. Your legacy, your empire, home. You know, we had legacy show up in the beginning. Learn something new. Okay. We're constantly learning. We're never going to know all there is to know. And that's why these experiences are endless. That's why there are so many different planets and planes of existence, universes, even. Okay. So we're never going to stop learning. So I don't know it all, even though people think I think I'm a know-it-all. I don't know everything, and you don't know everything. So be open to learning. Also, if you are being, so if you're going down rabbit holes, my neurodivergent lovelies, follow them. Go down those rabbit holes. Make sure that you're not neglecting other things and yourself, right? Balance, even in those things. I know it's possible because I can do it, but I do forget to eat a lot. That's one of my main pitfalls, but we're working on it. But go down that rabbit hole, learn something new, start a new hobby, start a new, if you're feeling like creating your own healing modality or learning a healing modality or learning how to read cards or anything like that, learn something new. This is your push, they said, your push. Crystal technology showing up here. We got a crystal baby in there. So work with the crystalline technology, they're talking about crystalline technology also within that was coming through. It's like a double transmitter there. Sorry. So meditate, talking about meditation first. Hold on. Talking about meditation first, working with crystals. My desk, you guys can't see it, but there are crystals like piled, like literally I have some stacked on others just so I can work with those ones because those are the ones that I want to work with. So get your crystals and program your intentions into them. Meditate with them, communicate with them, just like you would communicate with trees and out in nature, or communicating with the fae or anything like that. It's telepathy, baby. Practice it on your crystals. They are beings too. And if you are anything like me, you treat them as such. You love them and you talk to them. So maybe that's learning something new. Maybe you're going to learn something from these beings from working with the crystals. And if you need some crystals, dosharocks.com or right here on Facebook, Dosha Rocks. But work with them. Also, when that card came out, I got the pineal gland. They said, you are the technology. That is, you're the radio receiver. You're the signal and the receiver. So you need to open up. That's why we're talking about a lot of divine feminine energy lately. You need to open up and receive these downloads. So stop ignoring your intuition, stop suppressing your intuition, stop left braining it to death. You need to be open to receiving. You need to be in that divine feminine to receive these insights, these downloads, this information that they want you to be open to receiving, but you're not. It's like you wouldn't believe it if it came through right now. So you need to open up. They're traveling with you. Yay. I love Dosha Rocks too. She's awesome. So, and with that, the Sing card came out, and this is talking about frequencies. So regarding that pineal gland, maybe someone needs to work on decalcification of the pineal gland. Maybe you need to do some heavy metal detox or something like that, parasitic cleanses, those kinds of things. If you feel like that would benefit you, don't do them at the same time. But they're really talking about making yourself a receiver, being in that divine feminine to receive these frequencies, but also so that you can project these frequencies out. They're like, there's a gum in the works, there's a clog there. So someone needs to focus on that pineal gland. You can meditate focusing on the pineal gland. You can candle gaze. There are so many ways that you can do that. And if you want to learn more, you can post in the group asking everyone. I know everyone here has great suggestions on how to do things like that. I've got a ton too. So we can really just info dump on you because there's a lot of neurodivergence in our group. So yeah, if that's you, if you need to research it, even do your own research or discern for yourself, use your own intuition, what would help to decalcify that if you're having that problem. Quit your job, it's not good for you. Doesn't mean to quit it right now if you don't have something lined up. Oh, hey, Nicole, love you. If you don't have something else lined up, please don't just drop unless you are, unless it's financially feasible for you to do so. Don't say, oh, I quit my job because Rebel said so, and now I'm laying in the gutter with my sleeping bag. Please don't do that. But perhaps start seeking out other opportunities, or start your own business if you're drawn to that, because that was literally the second card in the reading. Okay, start your own business, especially if you feel like it's spiritually based, not if you feel like it, if it is spiritually based, if it has some, if you're using your gifts, your natural talents, your natural gifts, definitely do that. Stop looking for love and love yourself is showing up right next to someone copies you. So this is coming to me like external validation seeking. There's like something in particular that I'm supposed to talk about. So back to someone who's having issues with someone at work. If you're someone that's uncertain about yourself, not confident, right? Or just not used to being confident, and you go asking people, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Be careful, okay? Because you could go and talk to the wrong person about it and they take your idea and run with it. And then they're the one with the promotion and, you're doing all the work for no pay. That's very specific, but seeking validation externally, you need to understand that you are valuable, your work is valuable, even if you're in the beginning, even if you make mistakes, you're still learning. Okay, so give yourself some credit. And if you're not getting credit where credit is due, you will, but you need to stop focusing on it, because focusing on the lack of validation or the lack of people recognizing your efforts and your accomplishments and things like that, it's that chasing energy, and what you're chasing is running from you, right? It's that lacking energy. So when you come out of that, you'll start to see that you're going to start receiving this because you're pushing it away energetically, because you're still focused on that. So whoever that's for. But protect your ideas, your energies, your work right now. Someone copies you, and diet showing up here. So whoever is copying you, you need to cut them out of your life. You need to distance yourself from them, whatever you need to do. Stop feeding them your ideas. Stop feeding them your energy. It's throwing it in the trash can, like we talked about in the beginning. Focus on doing your best, and they will see exactly. So again, if it's like a coworker that's been copying you, that's been taking all the glory, and now you're coming into being seen, being recognized. Oh, you're actually the one that's been doing it the whole time, not them. They may very well be on the way out over that kind of thing. So pay attention, showing up now. And that shows up right above. Stop looking for love and love yourself. Stop seeking external validation. Okay, pay attention to those that you are seeking validation from. If you just scratch beneath the surface a little bit, you're going to understand that there's no reason for you to seek out their validation or their attention or anything like that. If anything, it would be the other way around. You really need to work on self-worth, because it's sabotaging you. It's like you've got, it's like dysmorphia, like body dysmorphia, whenever you look at yourself and you see something like hideous and then no one else sees anything wrong with it. That's a very loose, kind of butchered, brief summary, but there you go. But it's a dysmorphia in a way where it's like you flip the values, you flip your worth that is so high, that should be on a pedestal, and theirs is so, so below that, in contrast, because they're not the same frequency whatsoever. And you've got shadow there. You need to work on that self-worth. You need to work on why you put others on a pedestal too, especially if they're not giving you credit or telling you, like if you're courting with someone or you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or whatever, and you don't ever receive compliments, and you're so loving and you go out of your way to do things for them and you don't receive recognition, or they bitch and complain about anything you do, which, by the way, I'm describing a toxic and abusive relationship, whether or not they put their hands on you. So it's like, that's dysmorphia. They're the ones that are low frequency, that are worthless, and you're the one that is worth your weight in gold here. So you really need to pay attention to what's going on. Spirit card showing up here with act. So get out of the situation in whatever way you can. Advocate for yourself. Step up. Get out. Whatever you need to do. I don't know your life, so but there it is. Others of you, pay attention, because there are signs, symbols, synchronicities that are showing up for you that maybe they haven't started quite yet. They're showing me like Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs. Like you're going to be receiving signs that are breadcrumbs that are pulling you in this direction to act. So spirit is bringing you messages, little breadcrumbs. They're saying pay attention and follow the breadcrumbs, because there's something huge that you're going to need to act on. It's a beautiful opportunity for you. You're going to be propelled ahead by leaps and bounds with this, right on into your bliss. I love that. The next card is bliss. So follow your bliss. There's the lion, the cow. Cows are a symbol of great wealth. They always have been. So you might have a lot of wealth and abundance coming into you. We have the eagle and the owl also on the top of the card, signifying wisdom, freedom. This could be financial freedom, okay? You could just stumble into some wealth. You could be on a hike and then fall through the ground into this beautiful pile of gold or something. I don't know what you're doing, but Catherine, that would be you, honey. The crumbs lead to a big old cookie. Yes. A big old triple chocolate chunk cookie or something. I love chocolate. But follow your bliss. Follow the breadcrumbs to your bliss. Don't worry about if someone's copying you or not. Stay in your own lane. Do your own thing. Protect your ideas, your energies, whatever. And don't worry about it, because they're about to get, cut out in some way. Okay. Also, spiritual diet. Make sure, like, even on social media with your news feeds and stuff, quit watching things that are low vibrational, that just bring you down, that make you sad, make you angry. People are always posting stuff that's going to get some kind of an angry reaction or something like that to get people talking, because whenever people are upset or angry or offended by something, they have to say something, right? It's just like they have no filter at that point. So if you notice like your social media starting to be flooded with stuff like that, just, remove it from your feed. I know on Facebook you can do the three dots and say never see this again or whatever it is. But that also is the algorithm of your life too. Start paying attention to the things that you want to show up in your life, and start removing from your experience any kind of post, okay, any kind of person, situation, anything like that, thoughts, and all of that, okay. Remove those from your algorithm and focus on only the things that you want to see. And then you'll start to notice your reality taking a new shape. That's what they said. All right. That's that. Let's talk about connections, because I know you guys have experienced some great soul connections with people online, in the online communities, in this one and other communities, where you're like, I know you from somewhere. You feel so familiar. It's like I've known you forever. There's quite a few of you like that for me. And vice versa, a lot of people know me from around around the cosmos and everywhere else. They're like, yeah, if only. We're interdimensional. I used my deck you got me, Nicole. I'm glad you were able to come in today. But so I know you guys have had those experiences. Who has? Can't with that negativity disguised as opinion. Yeah. Leave early in the morning, and that reading was beautiful and calming. Oh, good, Catherine. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. So, oh yeah, okay. I'm going to pull up what the episode says because my brain, this will help spark me back into what I was going to talk about. We'll explore the profound phenomenon of soul memories and the magnetic pull we sometimes feel towards complete strangers. Have you ever locked eyes with someone and felt an unexplainable sense of familiarity, safety, or even grief? These connections often reach far beyond this single lifetime. And if you guys know anything about like the beginnings of the podcast and like what the person that got it started, I'm not talking shit, not saying anything, but I'm also not giving them a lot of breath. So if you guys were watching that episode where we brought that person on as a guest, I don't know if you remember that. And we were talking about past lives somehow. I don't remember exactly how it went, but that person was talking about having connections. And I'm like, yeah, you killed me. Like you contributed to my unaliving when my head was chopped. So that's going to make a few of you giggle, I know. But yeah, like even situations like that where it's like, I feel like I know that I know you, but then when you start to get into it, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I remember why. I remember how I know you now. You were one that contributed to my unaliving, my beheading or something, but there can be those kinds too, which have happened to me. You guys saw it in real time. If you were here, you saw it. And if you know, you know. If not, then I'm sorry. But we'll dive into the ways our souls remember each other. Yes. Across Earth, incarnations, other realms, different planes of existence, both physical and non-physical timelines. So yeah, we might come across one another in this experience and feel that connection, that uncanny connection. It's like, what? How it feels like I've known you forever and ever and ever. And it might turn out to be a super beautiful and positive experience through and through from start to finish. Or you might like do pretty well for a while and then fall off, and it's kind of the similar pattern to what's happened in other experiences. Or you could just be like, oh, I know that I'm repelled by you and you did something to me because I know you. So yeah, Catherine, you're welcome, Sonia. Thank you, love. Yeah, so you were watching that one. But that was just, it was totally organic. It wasn't something that I had planned. It just kind of happened, and it was like in that moment I had that memory, and it just came out. So you guys and I experienced it at the same time. Yeah, repelled by me for real. Yep. So you can definitely have those experiences too. So not everyone that you encounter and you feel that like I know you from lifetimes and lifetimes, not all of them are going to be meant for you to keep around in this lifetime, even if every other one was a really positive experience. Okay. We will be tight homies on the other side, and then we'll be like, okay, I'll come and be the villain and I'm going to do this to you. And hey, Steph. Oh, Steph, darn it, you missed it. I was talking about something and you would have probably said something really funny. Talking about people that we've known in other lifetimes, and they might not be people that we've had pleasant experiences with in the past. And I was talking about the person that we brought on as a guest, which is kind of how this whole thing got started with the podcasting. And like organically it happened in conversation talking about past life connections, and I was like, yeah, you contributed to my unaliving in that lifetime. And then that person was just like didn't have anything to say for once. But yeah, we were talking about how not every encounter that we have with someone that we've known for through other lifetimes or many other lifetimes um is going to be from pleasant interactions. We do play parts for each other, and I know it's creative, right? And on the other side, it's all love, it's all good, it all has purpose. But whenever we're in the experience, when we're so close to the experience that we're also having, um we don't always see it that way, or it doesn't always feel that way. But it truly is all love over there, and that's why I don't really deal with like I don't really get like emotionally invested in those things as much as a normal person would, I guess. Too much over your daughter in one. Yes, yes, Steph, I did. um that was the same lifetime that we're talking about, when the other person that we had guest appearing on the podcast was like, yeah, we've known each other in other lifetimes. I'm like, yeah. As a matter of fact, you contributed to my unaliving. But yeah, then I entrusted my one and only treasure, my daughter, to you for safekeeping, for ensuring that she had everything that she needed. And then she took the throne. So and with everything being consensual, regardless of the human mind. Yeah. And that's why we got to be thankful to everyone for their partner story. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, Catherine. Sorry, I guess I didn't leave that other comment up for everyone to be able to read. So I read really fast, like I just pew pew. So I sometimes forget to leave it up long enough for people that may not be able to read so quickly. Yes, it is very special. And you might like a lot of people that don't understand this or haven't had the experience before, and this is why I wanted to talk about it too. Um, a lot of people that haven't had the experience and don't understand what it's even like, um, they can, I guess I'm not putting that correctly. Hold on. Okay, so and then they encounter something for themselves, where they have this immediate, like, I know you type of connection. But they're like trying to filter through this brain, through this life memories to think where they met them before, because they could swear that they met them. It's not going to come through like that. If you've had the actual experience, it's like there's a sense of familiarity, and it's like in the heart space, like, you can feel kind of a tug, but at the same time, you can't quite put your finger on it. Most of the time, if you have, that perception and you're able to, then a lot of times you'll have some kind of impression or some kind of information that comes through with that, or a vision. But they're not always going to be human experiences. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think in the context of earth plane, like, what was it, the 1800s or 10,000 BC, or whatever. Apparently she was pretty important historically. Aren't they all, though? Isn't that the way it goes? But so yeah, not all experiences are going to be an earth one in a human form, and you're not going to remember it the same as you would, a this life memory. You're not going to have that recorded in your brain, in your memory. So it's going to come through a little differently, and it when it happens. Like just immediately being comfortable with someone, just knowing, hey, I know that I can trust this person. Like Steph, I have only known him for like a year and a half, going on 2 years probably now. But when we met, we just clicked. We just like, it was not the same as just any other client or any other Facebook friend that you meet in a group. It was like this solid, like, I know you connection. And we hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. Same thing with a lot of you other ones, but you guys know I always talk about Steph and stuff. So I'm just using you as an example. Thank you, Steph. You're welcome. But it happens for a lot of us like that in these online spiritual groups, just trying to find our way back to ourselves, trying to find some kind of information that's going to help this place make sense, right? Isn't that why we all start out seeking in the spiritual community, seeking connection, or just stumbling across people that we click with, because we were meant to find one another, to connect in this way, and we're all in different geographical locations. So the internet is our tool. Same with you, Kara. Same with you, girl. But Steph and I have some confirmed stuff. So that's why I talk about him in that way. Because we do have a few confirmed connections. So yeah, it could be even just meeting someone in public, just happenstance, that becomes your bestie, or becomes your partner, or becomes one of the people that you consider family. These connections with specific souls are much deeper than normal connections, that with people that we interact with in our day-to-day. So touching back on, not all of these experiences are physical. Some of them are non-physical. You could be well, I guess this could be more considered physical, but you could be two different planets. I had an interaction with someone that was also a planet while I was a planet. You can have experiences where you're the wind and they're the clouds, and you guys are the best friends because you just blow each other around all day while the wind blows the cloud around, and the cloud just says we. But you know what I mean. You can have that kind of an experience. You guys can be different constellations, because constellations and planets and everything, it all has consciousness. It all has a soul. It all has a beingness, right? We both have water as a guide. Yes. I got a reading and waited in only a few minutes. She said, hey, wait, you're like me. You can tap in the same way. I remember that. That was our first reading together. Love you too, Kara. Oh, sorry, voice. Had to wet my whistle. So you're not always going to have some kind of, even if you are very gifted and you can, you know, read energies or go into the Akash or anything like that, you're not always going to understand this connection. It might not always come through as a soul memory if you get to that point where you can tap in and get these visuals, or however you get your energy, hearing, you know, sensing, feeling, whatever. It's not always going to come through in a way that you can tangibilize in those kind of ways. And I know those are intangible ways, but they're very tangible to those of us who know how to do it, right? So it could be just you were the wind and they were a cloud and you were the best of friends and you just blew around and blew hats off of people at the beach, because I had a client that did that in her session, in her hypnosis session, who wants to be the wind so you can blow me. Oh. I'll show myself how. Shut up, Steph. That's a good one. I'm going to use that one now. And I'm not going to give you credit for it, Steph, because the card came out today that said someone copies you. I hope I'm not missing comments. I'm trying to scroll up and see if I missed anything. Okay, I don't think I did. Steph, you cracked me up. Capricorn sense of humor. Anything like that is funny. And I'm like a 7-year-old boy or 12-year-old boy at times too, because I'm like a 7-year-old too. I get along with my kids, and I all laugh a lot. They get my humor. They just told me that and I almost spit my tea out. They get my humor. So that was a pun from my spirit team. Frequency, to be clear, goodness, they're just playing games now. You're done. Does anyone have any like past life experiences y'all want to share? I've got a ton of them that I can share, not just of myself, but clients as well. I have one that was best friends with a fairy, and they were a hummingbird, and that was so beautiful. And then I cried as I'm doing the session, because at the end of the hummingbird's life, the best friend, the fairy, was there. Like the bird, the hummingbird was like laying on the ground, got hurt, injured somehow, and like it was the bird's time to go. And the fairy was there, like transitioning them to the other side. It was gorgeous. Steph, my gosh. But yeah, I've had people that were clouds. I've had people that were fairies. I've had people. The interesting thing though about like fairies and hummingbirds, when they incarnate as a human, usually they have a sweet tooth, like a really, really big sweet tooth. Starting to think you were a tree. Yeah, Catherine, that's accurate. I was a sun. Yes, Kara, I forgot about that. That's right. You were a sun. S-U-N. Yeah, it was really awesome because she's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, I'm getting bigger and then I'm shrinking. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It showed you how expansive and bright you are. So we've all had so many non-physical lives, it's not even funny. You can be a grain of sand. You can be a rock. The same person that was the hummingbird was also a rock in a coliseum and had to witness horrors like gladiator type shows. And they were just so sad once they got put and had to spend hundreds of years as part of this wall, and then with their consciousness decided that they were going to leave, and because it was just too hard to deal with. And then that person also now has this deep like grief whenever they encounter like stone walls, which there are a lot around here, and this is a local person. um they went and just like hugged this wall in this basement and was like, I had to, and she was just crying and crying and crying. Was like, the wall was so sad, I just had to. So you were best friends with an elephant. Oh, I love that, Wendy. I love elephants. Maybe I was your best friend. Could be bacteria in somebody's anus. Yes. Your friend was the protective dome over Atlantis. Well, that is pretty neat. Yes. You have a hardcore sweet tooth, Linda? The cool it on the sweets message was for you. Maybe just one box of cookies and not 5, right? You were also the sky. I love that. I've had some clients that were the sky too. A rock shaper. Ah, wow, Susan. That is so cool. Yes. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what happened. They melted rocks and made these structures, and the giants were there too. Yes. See, true history is surfacing through memory. I am your good friend. I could see me being an elephant. Totally could. Or chocolate starfish. Oh, you guys crack me up. I have had clients that were trees. I had one that was, get this, okay? They lived with their mother in the forest. They were magic folk, right? And they mixed potions and did all kinds of magic. They worked with the land, did land magic, did healing on trees and things. Um, and the house they were living in at the time had a dying tree, and they were supposed to heal the tree. I'm pretty sure it worked. Anyway, the villagers would come to them for medicine, for magic, for healing, for all of these things. And then something catastrophic happened to their crops. And of course, they go and they say that it's the magic folk and they want to, unalive them. And this person, the client, was not at home whenever this was all happening. They had actually fallen asleep with their animal friends in the forest, because they would sleep with like the deer and stuff in like a little pile. So they were off doing that, had a nighttime walk and did some magic and stuff, and was gathering herbs to take home so that they could process them. And on the way home, heard this commotion, and by the time they got there, the mother was unalived, and was basically just un- unspeakable things done to the vessel afterwards. So this person was so hurt and traumatized and in mourning by it that they became a tree, and then they like transitioned, decided to transition. Again, you can decide to transition, just like the other person that I just talked about decided to transition from being a rock in a wall, was like, nope, I'm out of here. This person did the same, but they turned their physical being into a tree, and then that tree grew wings, and then they turned into like this flying bird being, right? Bipedal, humanoid type being, and then went off to another planet. Yes, thank you, Steph. Steph was told that he brought plant medicine to Earth, like hallucinogenics and cannabis. So everyone thanks Steph for the good times. Oh yes, Linda, there were giants. There are remains of giants. Mhm. Everything that is and will be needs a soul to exist. Exactly. Yes, we want to experience it all, which is endless. You will be a grain of sand, a rock, a tree, a leaf, even, just to have the experience. Like leaves, they're only here for a season, they die and they fall away. And then, you know, the new ones are grown the next year. So we have these experiences, and this can even go to, trickle down to humans, even if a baby only lives for a few minutes and then transitions because of whatever, terrible circumstances. um it's for a purpose, it's for the experience itself. And I know it sounds morbid and horrible, but it's the truth. And it also impacts those that love them, even if they were only here breathing for 5 minutes. It affects them in ways that they can't really even understand either. So they are all lessons, they are all experiences that we want to have, that we sign up to have, that we choose to have. But in this vessel, with the comprehension that we have now, mentally and emotionally, um, we can't always understand that from our humanness, and that's okay. It's not meant to be understood by everyone. Hey, Steph, it's time for you to bring more of that medicine. Yeah, Steph is always in charge of the entertainment, right? Oh, sweet dreams, Matt. Get plenty of rest. Petroglyphs way up high in the trees. Oh, nice. That is so cool. The cannabis plant raises Gaia's vibration as a plant, not when burning. Burning raises the vibe if it's low. It lowers your vibe if the vibe is high. Mm. I'm going to agree to disagree on that one. Just that last bit. Yes, have a good sleep, Matt. Hey, Jay. Jay's been a busy, busy man. Any other experiences y'all want to share? We have a little bit more time. Let me see. I'm trying to think of some good ones that were non-physical that I can think of off the top of my head. Stonehenge was earth-based magic, Linda. That would be, I'm not going to say humans, but it's going to be a civilization that inhabited at that time, that area. Sure, Wendy, of course. Let me see. What else? Oh, I had one that was the water. It was before the frequency of the planet and all of the destruction, and then the fear virus and everything started taking over. And there was not just one soul that was inhabiting the water source. There were three of them, and the water source was also like iridescent and glittery and like mystical and magical. So, and it was really, really sweet water too. So that also touches back on the sweet tooth. Some of you may not have been a fairy or something like that, but maybe you were something that drank the waters before, when they were sweet, before everything happened, because water was sweet. It was more like a nectar before, but I don't want to say it was like a nectar, because it's not like it was pure super sugary. It was like water, but a light sweet, that kind of flavor. So you could be used to that kind of water which is kind of a little bit of my issue. I do like to drink water. I don't drink as much as I should though. And it's because I like tea because it has flavor. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Wendy. Congratulations. May your sales multiply. Went to heaven and saw the bright light of God. It was love and only love. I did not want to come back here. Yeah, I've had a lot of clients actually that went back to source. Was the water more light compared to now? Like the, yes, density wise, yes, yes. That's, you know, how water says water takes many forms. There are different densities of water. We know that, right? Because crystals are formations of water in a different form. And there's like any different water sources, even if you pay attention, there's different like a viscosity kind of, I guess you could say, of the water. Oh, me too. Me too, Steph. I have a new water purification system. I've had it for like a month, but I need to install it. But I have to do like handyman stuff to do it. So I haven't done it yet because I've had so much going on. But yeah, I have that. But I have also in my bathrooms, like all of my faucets in my bathrooms have water filters on them now. And my skin is so much better. I don't have problems with dry skin. Missed a lot of this. Oh, that's okay, Shauna. Hopefully you get some good stuff from the replay. You get your water through drinking tea too, Susan. Yeah, it just like it has flavor. I love like there's sometimes where nothing except water will do. I have to just chug a bunch of water. But then a lot of the time it's more so because it doesn't taste like anything. So I want it to have some kind of flavor. But I do drink a lot more when it has flavor to it. So yeah. Same page. That 5D water hits different for real. Have you ever tried the difference between like regular water and then tried programming the water, setting your intentions or purifying it, you know, putting your energy into it or Reiki into it, whatever you do? Have you ever tried like a side-by-side comparison? Because it tastes different. And I have a really sensitive palate, so I don't know if it's just me being able to taste a subtlety or if a lot of other people experience the same thing. So you guys will have to try that and then let me know how that goes for you. If you can tell a difference between water that you haven't blessed and charged versus water that you have. And you don't do any like different kind of filtering or anything, just 2 different cups of water from the same source and just charge one with your intentions and the energy and see if you can sense a difference at all. Mostly tea and lots of water too. Yeah. Congratulations to Wendy. She's getting more opportunities. Love it. Drink more than 4 liters daily? But you're a big guy, Steph. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Anna. I can't like the same problem that I have with food, like being able to eat very much food, even if I love the food and I want to gorge out, there's no way I can just physically cannot do it. Just can't do it. Same thing with water. I have like a fill line. I can't put any more in and then it gives me a tummy ache and then I will throw up. So I can't drink a lot. But there are some people that can drink like fish, drink water like fish. I know there's people that can drink alcohol like fish too. I know some. Program and Reiki the water had some wasn't and it was not good. Yeah, Linda, you know. Charge it and help with whatever you're working on. It works amazingly. Yes. And if you don't believe us, do some research. Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist, did amazing experiments on it. So do some research on that. It restructures the water whenever you put intention and blessings and positive things into it. and it breaks down those structures if you do the opposite of that. Yes. When I go to take a drink, more often than not, sometimes I'm not, being fully present in the moment. But I try to, whenever I'm consciously able to, when I take a drink, I always set the intention before I actually take every drink. So, and I'll charge the water whenever I first get it too. But I don't know. It's like gratitude and telling the water what to do whenever I drink it. Soul sees it as cannibalism. Yep, talk nicely to your water for sure. All right, guys. Well, I will start letting you guys get back to your evening. I have children to tend to and whatnot. Um, but it's been a really fun topic. We always like talking about past lives, right? I have some topics lined up for the rest of the week. I will make the promo tonight, let you guys know what tomorrow's topic is going to be. I have a few options. Today's topic was inspired by Miss Shauna. It's actually something I was contemplating putting on last week, though. But I was like, nah, we've been over past lives like a lot. And then we were talking about it yesterday. So I was like, okay, we'll talk about it again. So we always enjoy talking about past life stuff. It's fun. Finish packing, Catherine. Enjoy. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, same time as tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 1 a.m. British summertime. You're welcome, Anna. Thank you. I love you. One thing I used to always do was pop my tea in the microwave to heat it back up. And that same video showed water from a microwave. Yeah. So drink your tea faster and Reiki it. I love that, Linda. You can, boil it on the stovetop too. But thank you guys so much. I love you. I will see you guys tomorrow.